Breathe deep. Appreciate. That's what we don't do enough of. That's appreciating. Yeah. We delegate, pontificate, Watergate. But we should appreciate. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen, and I am a big appreciator. As a matter of fact, I will join many people in the city of San Bernardino as we show our appreciation for Police Chief Joe Paulino, the Police Chief of San Bernardino Unified School District. He's retiring. Man, he's been with the district more years than I can. Well, he's not old, but he's really a serviceman, and they'll be doing that at 4 o'clock tomorrow at San Bernardino Unified School District offices, 777 North F Street. If you have a child that's been going to school at San Bernardino Unified School District and he's been coming home safe every day for the last X number of years, you can appreciate Chief Joe Paulino. And another gentleman that's been very, very, very important and good to the city, the entire Inland Empire, quite frankly, and that's Mr. John Coleman. He's a communities photographer. You know, there's photographers who take pictures and they do well. They have some type of press pass or something that makes them be special in the eyes of some news organization or the police as they let them cross police lines to cover stories. And then there's the people's photographer, the one that everybody recognizes. He needs no credential. All he needs to do is show up and everybody's happy. Oh, Mr. Coleman is here. Mr. John Coleman, we thank you for your years of service to the Inland Empire as the communities, the people's photographer. The West Side Action Group will be saluting Mr. John Coleman tomorrow at their noon meeting. That meeting's takes place at Young Visionaries, Mr. Terrence Stone's operation. They're on the corner of, what is that? F and 4th Street. So you guys come on into the complex and they'll direct you into where the West Side Action Group is meeting. So take time to appreciate. Appreciate the people who are doing things to make life better. Appreciate the people who are willing to invest. I'm not going to say sacrifice, because the people that we're talking about are conscious of the fact that the work that they're doing has a return. The contributions that they make has a return. It's not a sacrifice. It's an investment into the world that we love and appreciate. And I can appreciate them extremely much for the work that they're doing. Well, today's program, we're gonna invite a couple of people in. One of them, Mr. Mac Rome. You know, he's our friend for a long time here on the show. He's a comedian, philosopher, podcaster. But most importantly, yes, he is a thinker. And we'll also be joined by Mishua. Mishua is our East Coast correspondent, representing the Empire from the East Coast. They're in Florida, Miami area. So we're going to be talking and carrying on with a few questions with them. I can share the questions with you, and then we'll take a short break and we'll come back and get a chance to talk to our compadres. One of the questions that has to do with social media. Yeah, send the link. To both of those, please send the link to both Mishua and to to Mac Rome. You have the numbers? Yeah, send that link. Yeah, one of the questions has to do with social media. We hear government constantly talking about, and parents and school districts and folks in general talking about the effects of social media on our young people. And there is a big move to regulate, to not allow our young people to be on social media. Now, we're going to talk about that. I don't know how old or how young they should be, but I know that Mishua and that Mac have an opinion on that. We also have a concern about, well, we're going to get into that. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have an opportunity to talk to our guests. And I'll tell you what, if you'd like to call in, do you have that number, Octavian? Yeah, would you, when we come back, we'll read that number out so you guys can know how to call in and participate. Uh, Not my greatest wish, but hopefully, if you want to talk, we will allow you to join us and help us understand how and why we do some of the things we do here in America as we lead the world, hopefully, to a better place because we are the leaders. We want to be sure we're acting like leaders, people who are knowingly in charge. Okay, we're going to take that short break. Give me that short break, and we'll be right back. Okay, I guess we're not ready to take a break. Then who do we have on the line?
Ah,
Hello, who's on the line?
this a dead air.
Good morning.
Is that Mishua? Is it Mac?
Seaside.
Who's that? You just had him on there. What's up?
It's
I can't
Mishua.
hear you, sir.
It's Mishua.
Mishua.
Hear
Yeah,
me?
let her on. Bring her up. Mishua. Mishua.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Balance that out so that we're both, with the same levels, if you can, and we'll be in good shape. Okay. Now, Mishua and Mac is going to join us pretty soon. That I guess that question to protect the children, should government restrict access to social media based on age? Now that's one of our questions. Another question we're going to deal with later on is: do you care about the Epstein files being released, and why? And our third question for the day has to do with surveillance cameras being everywhere. We're trading privacy for safety. Is that a good thing? So we'll start off first of all by asking you, Miss Mishra, how things are in Florida. How was your day? What are we looking forward to taking place there? And is this a good question to start off with in terms of our young folks and social media?
Well, good afternoon, good morning where you are, good afternoon where I am, and so good day to everybody in between the East Coast and the West Coast. It is a beautiful day. It's my favorite kind of Florida day,
Mm,
which is slightly overcast so that it's not humid. There's a nice breeze blowing, but it's still sunny and bright. So that's my favorite kind of Miami day.
very good. It sounds like an imitation of a Southern California day. But
Well,
that's okay. Imitate. Which one's original? I guess you guys are because the sun comes
Well,
up
I
first
can
there.
tell you, I can tell you what Grandpa Steve said the first time he came to visit, but I
Be
think I
careful
have to
now.
get off the air.
Your grandpa Steve
Yeah,
had very colorful vocabulary.
he had, and he had a very interesting synopsis about the similarities, and I don't know that if we say it on the air, what might happen next. So I'll tell you afterwards, and then if
Yeah, I've got a good idea what might
you
happen. It
not, I can
probably
share it
here's
next.
here's silence for an hour while FCC tried to figure out exactly what he meant while we said
Well,
what we
no,
said.
no, I think he was very clear about what he meant. I'm just thinking about who would be marching on KCAA by the time we finish. Oh, that's that's what I was thinking. So, um, that's because
Wise
he's from a certain
consideration.
era. He's from a certain era with a very good heart and a very colorful commentary about his view of people.
Everything.
Yes, and the world. But that's why I love me some Grandpa Steve. May Homer say and wave to us because I know he's watching and listening.
Yes, he is, without a doubt. But let's get into it. You know,
Um,
you
yeah,
you you are no longer a mother of sub-teens. And matter of fact, my my grandsons are grown men now. Uh,
Yes, but
but you
this,
have nieces and nephews that fall into this age of teens and preteens, and
well, it's a similar situation to what I dealt with when my sons were young teens, and at that point the question wasn't about social media per se, but it was about the internet and it was about cell phones. And it was very interesting because all of their friends had cell phones. I saw no reason to give them their own cell phone. We had a home phone and I had an extra phone. And so when they weren't with me, whoever wasn't with me, I would give them the phone. Now, because of that, I got some very interesting calls on that phone from their friends who didn't know that this phone was also their mom's phone.
yeah,
I
yeah,
saw, I saw text messages like, "Oh, just tell your mother that we're going to the movies in a group, and then I'll meet you there."
oh,
Got text
oh,
at
okay.
11:30 at night, or the phone would ring and I would answer, and then I would hear nothing because they had cell phones. None of these young people had any phone etiquette. No good afternoon, good evening. May I speak to so and so? Um, and it's what was interesting is, as you know, I'm the mother of four sons. What was interesting is that these calls were coming from young ladies who were very aggressive.
Are you suggesting that my grandsons were actually telling these young ladies that this was their cell phone and
No, no,
that
that's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm
okay,
suggesting is
that
that,
the young ladies were just so aggressive they didn't care who was going to answer the
well,
phone?
they just assumed. They assumed that it must be their phone. And because of that, I became privy to certain information that allowed me to be protective not only of my sons, but also of their female friends, and
Okay.
be able to teach them something that apparently their mothers weren't teaching them. But I was very surprised because I always thought that mothers of daughters and fathers of daughters would be more protective than mothers of sons. And the reason why they were not wasn't because they didn't care, but because they were ignorant to the potential threat and the consequences of these cell phones and this internet. And so the question about social media, it kind of becomes the same thing because it's, should the government be more protective? Yes. But that protection can only be as effective as the parents who would really be the ones enforcing it, because all social media will do is ask you how old you are.
And they don't really have a way of
Anyone
checking.
can lie. Well, for social media, they don't care if you tell the truth. They just care that they protect themselves by asking for the information. It's kind of like asking when you go to a club and the bouncer asking for your ID. Now, you may not know this, but when I was a teenager,
Wait,
17,
wait.
18.
You're not about to make me cry, are you? Make me
No, I'm not. I'm going
feel
to
like
make
I was an
you laugh.
inadequate dad because I
I'm
didn't
going to
follow
make
you
you
to the
laugh.
nightclub.
I'm going to make you laugh because, first of all, I love to dance. So the only reason I was going and completely ignorant of any other potential was that I love to dance. Now, I would borrow my mother's ID, her being 20 years older than me, but very innocently, I just would take her ID. And
Innocently.
I would go to the club, and at the door, basically, he would look at me, look at the ID, and say, "I better not see you anywhere near the bar," and just let me go
Uh,
because I wasn't there to cause trouble. However, if I had been a different type of teenager, or he had been a different type of bouncer, obviously that could have been dangerous. And I say that to say social media now is so much more potentially dangerous, not just because of who may be on the other end, who may be a predator, but just because it allows people in a space of anonymity to be cruel,
so,
be disrespectful, to be manipulative. And the idea of a 11 or 12-year old, I have a niece now who's 12, and I see the sensitivity of her coming home from school, and the first thing she's doing is looking at social media. And we had a conversation where she was upset because there was a girl at the school who commented on something she posted. And then she didn't like what the girl commented. So she deleted the comment. And so now the girl proceeded to go all over the school and talk about how, oh, you blocked me. And who do you think you are to block me? Now, I'm 56, but my advice to her about how much we don't care
How
doesn't
did you
count
get
at
older?
all.
How'd you get older than me so quick?
Oh, I didn't get older than you.
Go ahead. That's all right.
No, I just happen. I just listen. As long as I don't look 56, I have no problem.
Hey,
I have
okay,
no problem.
okay. I just thought
No,
I thought you
I
were much younger than that. That's all.
well, that's the beauty of it. You stop doing that.
But Mishra, here, let me interrupt.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt because the thing that you were able to witness as a mother and the cell phone was because the girls accidentally called you.
Hmm.
How does a parent get to monitor their youngsters with social media? They have the phone, they have the ability to click off, to hide this and hide that. Is it possible for a parent to actually monitor social media to the level that you were able to see with the cell phone? And if so, if not, and I'm surprised to hear that government should could do this.
Well, I mean,
I'm
to an
wondering to what extent
yeah, yeah.
parents should do it, and if we are going to restrict them, what age do we pick? At what age do we say, well, you can't have social media until you are?
12.
Anthony Garcia said 12.
Well, this
Um,
is my
I,
thing about that.
now
12
he,
is actually a much more delicate and dangerous age because of the hormonal implications of the preteen. So pre-adolescence is a scary place to be without a phone. When there were just slam books back in the old days, but I actually am not saying yes specifically with the government doing it, but I am saying that even if the government did, it could only be as effective as the parents. Because as a parent, you do have the ability to monitor your child. When you
okay,
give a
okay,
child
okay.
a cell phone or when you give a child social media, I remember when I first
Well,
allowed.
let's get back. Let's see if we can get back on picking and choosing an age. And while you work on that, are we able to take that break yet now? Okay, give us that break. We'll take a short break, and we're going to come back and we'll follow up and see if we can actually come up with some logic as to what age we would restrict our young folks from using social media. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm speaking to our East Coast correspondent, Mishua, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Happy Sunday, man.
NBC News on KCAA
Hello,
News
happy
Radio,
Sunday to
sponsored
you
by
too.
Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
One of the best ways to build a healthier local economy is by shopping locally. Teamster Advantage is a shop local program started by Teamster Local 1932 that has brought together hundreds of locally owned businesses to provide discounts for residents who make shopping locally their priority. Everything from restaurants like Corky's to fun times at SB Raceway and much, much more. If you're not currently a Teamster and you want access to these local business discounts, contact Jennifer at 909-889-8377, extension 224. Give her a call. That number again is 909-889-8377, extension 224.
All right.
For over a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80
All right,
million
son, you
listeners
got to listen.
depend on AM
You
radio.
got to put
each
your
month.
earphones
It's
on.
also the backbone of the
And
emergency
listen to
I
what's
can
response,
going.
hear you.
keeping us
I can
safe
hear you.
from
Can you hear me?
Very good, Mac. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I was talking to my engineer. You got to keep your earphones on so you can hear what we're doing, so you'll know what to do. Okay. Very good. Cancel that $1 million check right now. We're gonna have to we're gonna have to readjust that million
Well, they've
dollars.
done that a couple of times to me.
Yeah, you know how that is. Hey, Mac. Okay, so you're listening to where we are on social media and the young folk. You heard what Mishra said. Uh, Mac, you got any kids?
Listen, I don't have any biological kids. I have adopted three children in my lifetime. One of them is living here with us right now.
Okay.
And so,
How
yeah, I don't have biological children, but I have raised at least four children.
and so you got children you're interested in, concerned about, and so this
Very
question
much.
of social media, restricting social media to our young folks, has a reason for conversation with you. So Mishra was about to try to give us an age, and I'm asking you to think about the same thing. What are
Well,
your
I listen. Believe it or not, I have a son who joined the army, and before he joined the army, he was very much into the video game thing, and that's all he would do. And he would do that almost 20 to 22 hours per day. He might have slept an hour, and
Yeah.
so I really don't like that. It's worse than drugs, to be honest with you.
my
Like
goodness?
I've
Hmm.
seen crackheads function better than somebody who is addicted to video games.
That's not funny, but it is really
No, it's
funny.
true. True.
It's
It's true.
yeah.
I
Because
mean,
if
like it's
crack,
and you can't break the like. I could not, even though he was my son and we grew up together. I could not break the hold that the video game had on him, and the reason why is because they use science when they develop these video games. They use different color schemes. They use different little things that they've studied human beings before, and so they know how to get at our children. My advice on that one is don't let your kids start playing video games until they're about 15,
Well, you know
or cell phone, and I'm talking about TikTok and all that stuff. It's
yeah,
addictive.
yeah,
in this world of capitalism, and I got to have it and give it to me now, and I wish I had it yesterday. Uh, the
it's not a
video games. These kids can go make money playing and competing in video games.
Oh, oh,
Social media is making millionaires out of teenagers.
they will
It's
1%.
hard to tell a
mhm.
parent to say, well, it's okay for you to go let your son play basketball with the idea that maybe he's going to be, a great basketball player, or you're letting him take music lessons and with the idea that he's going to be a great musician, and you hope that they get so caught up in that that they are willing to practice all day or practice at the level that it takes. And with social media and with video games, they're just practicing. I mean, that is a response that people can give you, and I don't know. I guess we've had
But
had
I have another reason why,
okay,
and I
go ahead.
think the thing is, we are having this conversation from an intellectual standpoint and from a parental standpoint of what we would like it to be. But the truth of the matter is, we have teenagers whose fathers and mothers were gamers, are gamers. So you have gamers raising gamers. You have social media, quote unquote, influencers raising children, and they have put their children on social media before they were even born.
Well, because all children have an effect outside of their family, and I think that's where we're probably going when we say,
Well, I
does
think the thing is this.
society has even people who don't have children should have an interest in what is going on with society as a result of our kids being so wrapped up in social media and trapped into the echo of having been social media addicts. So what do we do?
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. Cell phones caught parents and teachers unaware, and they were unprepared. Teachers weren't prepared to teach how children should properly navigate the internet because
Well,
internet came up on us as a no, let me finish. So I don't necessarily think restriction is going to help. Again, I think it becomes a thing where we need to be educated on how it works and what it does, and we need to teach them at an early age how to be valued and get their validation other places so that it doesn't rule and control them, because it's going to be there. It's going to be there the way food is there. It's going to be there the way alcohol is there. And the difference between a crackhead and a video game or a social media addict is that a crackhead can eventually run out of crack. That's why at some point you can get them into a position where they have to go to rehab.
Okay.
The only way that you can get that game out of your child's hands realistically, the power has to go out. You got to quit your job. There are so many things that would have to take place in order for you to really have control. And the truth of the matter is, it's not realistic. Even if the government were to restrict it, it's not realistic. That
Okay.
ship has sailed.
Okay.
So we've got to now catch up. That's the first thing. We have to.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I have something to interject in here. It's not, and I understand what the sister is
I'm gonna
saying.
give you guys 2 minutes on this because we got a couple other
All right,
questions.
I'm gonna run it. But guess what they're doing at Palantir? They're using these social media platforms to collect information about United States citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you type into your Facebook and into your Instagram, the government is getting that. It's called a company. It's called Palantir, and the head of the company is Peter Thiel, and he has fostered our Vice President JD Vance. These guys are powerful, and this stuff is real. What we're talking about, and I I mean, like the only way I agree with Mishua, the only way you can save your children is not to give them access to a cell phone until they're old enough to accept that responsibility. And sometimes we don't know when our children are old enough to accept that responsibility because we don't know until the whole crackhead or video game head thing comes out. And
Well,
then, oh my God, my son won't come out the room for 10 hours a day, you know?
Yeah,
So
that works.
I would suggest that everybody, if you have a child, don't give them a cell phone till they're about 15.
okay. So that is our, you know, if we had to vote, and we've got a three team vote here, uh, would would the vote say keep them away from social media and cell phones, or
Yeah,
would it say, okay, let's vote for who would say keep them away from cell phones and video games and social media? I I would. I
me, I would also.
Missy, what do you say?
I did, and that's why I would say differently. I did for their own protection, and again, that's why it's different, and that's why I know it's 2 minutes, but understand this: when you send, and this is what was the law at the time. If I send a naked picture to somebody, that's called that's called trafficking. So when I realized there was a teenage boy in our neighborhood here who was not the same color as my children, who actually had to register as a sex offender because a friend of his in school texted a picture that a girl sent him of her topless, and they sent it to each other because they thought it was funny. And when the father found out, because your default is to always believe that your darling daughter was coerced, they all caught cases. And this young man had to be on house arrest until he was 21 years old. So when I heard that story, I said, there will be no cell phone. I will take every last one of you before I put you in a position to catch a case over just growing up. So it was for their protection. And that's how serious I took it. But my thing is that it's already left the gate. And
Well,
so for me, there isn't an age. There needs to be actual parenting and monitoring and communities commuting that give them alternatives so that it doesn't become the thing they live and die by.
okay, so our vote would be 2.5, but there should be some controls.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Okay, I
Well,
think
I mean, like
I think
they just the Republicans have said that they don't want any controls on AI, so this stuff is going to get even deeper very quickly.
yeah, they seem to the only thing that they want controls over are people of color.
Yeah,
After that, it doesn't seem to matter to
And
them.
broke people. But what they do is convince the broke people that the reason they're broke is because we've given all the money to the black people. So this way, we're controlling you too, the same way that we did with when we talked about closing the borders and ICE. We made you think it was only going to apply to the people that you don't like.
Okay,
But
can
it's
we move to
actually
question number two?
all of
Since we're talking about protecting the children and society, let me ask you this question number two. Do you care about the Epstein files being released? If so, why or why not?
absolutely, absolutely. And these are the reasons why. Number one, our government needs to be transparent. Our government is moving to a place where they can just keep things secret. All right, that's the reason why. But also, I don't understand how we have become so numb to young children getting raped.
Mhm.
What is going on? Why, Mr. Wallace, Allen? Why is that a question? Why should we not be upset that older, rich white men are raping children?
You
Mhm.
know,
Systemically.
it seems to
Systemically.
be an extension of the habit they formed when they introduced and propagated and elongated the whole concept of slavery. And it seemed to be not so much because a lot of poor white men had no access to owning slaves, but they did have access to raping black women. And I think the idea of rape has been a word that women had to come up with because, as far as men were concerned, there was no such thing.
All right, Mr. I'm gonna let you get in this, but I'm gonna jump on something that Mr. Allen just said. There's a the number one griper or right wing activist right now. His name is Nick Fuentes. He's had dinner with President Donald Trump, but this guy is he has never had sex with a woman. He hates women. He's never been the type of guy who had to compete to get a girlfriend. But this guy is so close to our president right now that he has influence over the rest of our lives. And this is my thing. When you're talking about rape, our president raped young children. When you're talking about rape, Nick Fuentes has never had sex. These people, they have a problem in their sexual lives, and they're projecting that onto us.
Okay, as far as Nick Fuentes never having had sex, uh, he maybe never had sex with somebody else, but he's probably had it with himself. And the point that I want to make here is that we don't know what that knucklehead has done throughout his life because we weren't there every moment. We know what he decides to claim now, and we know that he has decided that one of his favorite people is a chronological liar. Because what Trump says about what he does and hasn't done, I if you believe anything he says, God bless you. But I don't have any reason to believe anything he says that I don't have another reason to believe. Because if I believed it because he said it, I'd be crazy. But if I believe it because I saw some other evidence of that, then I believe I'd be on more solid ground. But what we're talking about is something that we would like to say is so extraneous that it's not real, but it's engraved, it's woven into our fabric. This is what white men should stand up now because it looks like white men in general are protecting these pedophiles. And I say that because Congress is and the Senate is overwhelmingly occupied by white men. And
I wonder why that's
they have
difficult
the
for you.
well it doesn't matter why so much as it's another example of what we can expect from them because of the fact we have so much should I say
Well,
it?
this is
Should I
why.
say this? Should I say this? We obviously have so much faith in them that we
Now,
keep electing them.
this is this is
What's going on? How do we do this? We know that they abuse women. We've come up with a word for it. It's sexism. How- that word wasn't part of the original. But sexism. Why did we come up with that? Because men want to be in charge of every dang gum thing based on the fact that they're men.
well. Can I let me interject here, and I will tell you the files need to be released for all of these reasons, but it all boils down to one primary reason. The reason that for centuries white men have been allowed to do the things that they've done is because women or the people either didn't feel they were in a position to question or demand better, or they weren't aware. Now, a government that is supposed to be of the people, by the people, and for the people are calling. Now they are aware of the existence. They want to see it. They want to know what it is. If you do not release it, you are confirming that this is a government of the man, by the man, for the man.
Okay.
If you confirm that, then the people are going to have to make a decision about how to respond to that. But either way, the people are now being given the information they're asking for, and they are seeing these powerful men in a different light. And now they want to be able to comment on it, because the bottom line is, if I'm going to put you in a position to govern on my behalf, how you treat people who look like me, how you treat my children, how you treat young women, as a father, it should matter. It should matter to this entire country how they treat people or children who are not in a position to say no or push back.
I
Because
agree with that.
the way that
I,
Mac,
I, I totally agree with that.
the same way that Mac has pointed out that AI and social media and all these things are controllers and triggers that they're going to use against the people. The same thing that they've done to these little girls on that island is what they plan to do to this entire country if you don't snatch them now. So, because I actually have only a certain degree of control over whether or not they release the files, what I really want to know is if they're going to, because either way, we have to be ready to respond accordingly. Are you going to do what the people have asked you to do? If you're not going to do what the people have asked you to do, what are the people going to do about it? That's
Well,
all we really got at the end of the day.
it's
Okay,
one.
can I say the elephant in the room that nobody's talking about? We are governed by a bunch of pedophiles. Now, that's
It
not my
appears that way.
opinion because even the MAGA people say that.
Hmm.
It appears that way,
Hmm.
and that's why I say, you know,
Well, legally, was Thomas Jefferson a pedophile?
if I were,
Yes,
Not
yeah,
exist at the time.
yes, he was a
Exactly.
pedophile though.
Exactly. Exactly. So throughout history, civilizations have been ruled by predators of some form or the other. They just didn't have the legal language to make it
well,
illegal. It was
in the
always
word,
wrong.
in the word, in the no, we got more than 5 minutes. In the words of the great Oscar Brown Jr., uh, here's a real good guy, only about 15. Her great grandmama was a Naomi Queen. Now look at the hip, but I'm not going any further. But about 15, that was the selling age, the ripe, the raping age. Women were expected to have many babies
Mhm.
under. So it's not fair, and it's not right to have a society that is based on rape like ours has been, and the evidence is clear, and the Epstein files could make it clearer, but we have the evidence over a long period of time.
Well, I mean, I would like to
What are
just
we going to do?
listen. From Thomas Jefferson to Donald Trump, how much more evidence do you need?
Yeah,
Right,
you just
right,
want the names, though. I
right.
want to know, for example, if someone I voted for is on that list. I want to know, for example, if someone who controls a company that I support is on that list, because then I have
Yes,
a choice. It's like a
yes.
woman
And
who, yeah. Do I
I
want to know
think
if my husband's cheating on me? Yes, because then I get to make a decision accordingly.
that's
Do I want to
that.
know if you're married? Yes, because then I get to make a decision.
I
And
think that's what our president's
I don't have
concerned about when he says people would get hurt. He's not talking about the victims.
No, he's not
He's
talking
talking
about the
about the
victims.
victimizers and the fact that they are cornerstones of American society.
No,
That
he's talking about his rich friends who will be harmed.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
These are cornerstones of society. These are people who probably have uh, the faces of corporations. They may be the face of politics. They may be people that we've cheered for on the athletic fields, people that but we need to know who they are because they may want to stop by and hang out with my kids
Well,
or
plus I
stop
also
out and
want
hang
to know
out with my grandbabies. And
who they aren't. I want to know who they aren't.
but okay, so
Because when
that's
they confiscated all the Diddy tapes, it became a big old conversation in Black America who is and is not on them,
so let's
which
vote.
pastors were and were not.
Let's
So if
vote.
it could be good enough for Diddy, we need to know what Diddy Epstein did do wop do wop do wop.
Well, I
Did it?
think they were light on Diddy anyway.
Well, they
So,
very much on
and
Diddy, but
I don't think we're going to see all of the Epstein files, Mr. Wallace Allen. We're not going to see everything that's in there because there are people powerful, more powerful than the president, who will make sure that you don't see their name in there.
a political issue. It's not just a Democrat or Republican issue. It is a white male issue. It is a powerful white male issue. And it's probably got some black folks up in there too, male and female.
Well, you
But
know,
it's
we
systemically the mindset of,
without a doubt, there are certainly non-whites who are
yeah,
exercising their desire to be white and doing the things that they think will make them be accepted by these wonderful leaders of
yeah.
white society.
So we need to know who the wicked
Now,
are.
now, now, let me say
Who the
this to
weak are.
everybody that wants to turn around and say, wow, they're racist. No, I'm not a racist, but I am race conscious, and I am able to stack up the things that I see being done by white men compared to things that are done by other white men who are not in power and white men who are not white but who think they are running countries around the world. If you're not white, things don't seem to be moving
Right.
Well,
very
and
okay.
again, that's just awareness because I know that there are very powerful black men in black countries who are doing the exact same thing, and we can't say
But
what
absolutely,
taken or
absolutely,
today. But
and
what I
we'll
do want to say,
well let's
and
do it.
then I can leave it here. What I do want to say is that I have a policy I've learned in dealing with soccer
Okay.
all these years. Weak is worse than wicked. See, a wicked man that you know is wicked, you know how to deal with. Someone close to you who is weak and afraid and that wicked man can control is close enough to kill you. So I want to know who the wicked people are on that list, but I also want to know who the punks are who just went along with it because they didn't feel powerful enough because there are more of them on that list than the actual wicked ones who ran it. So I need to know who everybody is and what their excuse is because I need to know how close I let weak get to me and then they let wicked get to me.
Okay, before we get to this last question about privacy, and I agree with you, and I agree with you to the point of in journalism, we have people that we see who have been able to take the picture that we are so horrified by, and whereas you and I may have said, I don't know if I want the Pulitzer Prize, let me put the fire out. I don't know if I want the Pulitzer Prize, let me save this person's life. And we have awards for people who have witnessed death that they could have done something about, or witnessed atrocities that they could have done something about, and they were rewarded with Pulitzer Prizes or some kind of prize for the journalism that they were able to display. I don't know. There's something to think about in most cases as we look at that. Our final question has to do with privacy, and it has to do with the fact that we now have surveillance cameras everywhere. I mean, we see that, and we have surveillance cameras everywhere, and when they come out and show us how they followed the killer or the suspect from one place to the next, we kind of glory in that and say, he can't get away. But at the same time, our privacy is at issue. Are we sacrificing our privacy for freedom, for safety, or are we actually investing our privacy for freedom, for safety? How do you guys feel about that? Because as we look at some of the things we're looking at now, if it were not for some surveillance cameras, we wouldn't be able to see the damage that Epstein has done. If it were
And if
not
it
for
wasn't for your
surveillance,
surveillance cameras on your phone, The government would not be able to see what you do in your private life.
Right. And if it
It,
weren't
it, it
for
works just the exact opposite way.
yes.
sacrifice for safety. We have already sacrificed privacy for convenience. So it's a moot question.
Well,
Those are the cameras we can see.
I
But
wouldn't go so far as to say that it's moot, but I would like to say that I think people need to really understand how your cell phones and your social media
and
platforms
y'all's
are going
friend
to be
Alexa,
used
because I
against
still
you.
don't understand why
Yes, well,
anybody.
I'm sorry. They're going to be used against you. And if you just do a little bit of research about Peter Thiel and his company, you'll find out how they're going to be used with you against you. As a matter of fact, the Pentagon just made an announcement yesterday that they're using generative AI to target people in Venezuela. This is the same thing that the Israelis do against Palestinians. This is computer technology. They're using social platforms to target people.
yeah, to entrap people.
Yeah,
To
there's no
suggest to
such
people
thing as
to
a free
suggest
app.
to people that this thing that I'm presenting to you is a good idea and you should sign up for it. And then after you finally convince them that it's a good thing to sign up for, you arrest them because they've been entrapped because you have motivated them to move from whatever mental position they were in over into the one that you consider dangerous enough to arrest them and do whatever it is that, well, if they're caught out in the middle of the Caribbean in a boat, go on to just kill them. But this quandary that we're in is not a moot point because of the fact that we can stop it by whom we elect. We can stop it by saying what is going to be allowable in terms of evidence in a courtroom. We can stop it because of what we say is rape as opposed to consensual. We have already said that if you're not grown, you're not consensual in a position to be consensual. But at the same time, we find that it's okay for some grown men to look at young women as though they are the prize that.
They're not young women, they're children. You got to stop using that young women thing. They're children.
That's the but but see, this is why, and this is why I say it's a moot point. Not because there's nothing that can be done about it, but because it's not the right question to ask. That's the point that I'm making. Because before they tell you it's for your safety, this country in particular is addicted to convenience. And so they get the dope on you with making it convenient for you, telling you it's free. And then after they have everything they want on you anyway, they come and say, by the way, this is for your protection. But I know people who went to jail in the 90s because of surveillance that they were not aware was there. I prefer
Well,
a camera I can see because at least now I know that you're not going to try and tell me that you don't have a camera on. But
California,
I'll have
California,
a conversation
Cal,
about Google and how we can talk about something, and next thing we know, if we're online, it asks us, "Oh, here's the podiatrist," or "Here's how you can find blah blah." So it's been listening. Your TV watches you.
well, we've certainly changed our attitudes about surveillance. We've changed our attitudes about being sneaked up on. At one point, our whole concept of police cars was that they are there to deter us from doing things, so they should be marked. We should know that they're police cars because the very presence of the police car itself helps to deter some of the activities that people would be involved in if they weren't there. But now California has put highway patrol in plain looking cars so that they could just roll up on you and
And you better hope it's really highway patrol.
well you hope it's high
Woo!
that very powerful statement. And at some point, I believe that the folks who are taking the chance to ride around in unmarked cars and chase people down with masks, to mask themselves and chase people down, I see, I see a shooting taking place that nobody really wants to have take place. I don't want to see any of them take place, but I'm wondering the first time we hear that someone killed an ICE officer because the ICE officer was not identifiable, and the person upon killing them did not run away. They stayed there and said, I thought somebody was trying to kidnap me or rob me, and I just stood my ground. What is
Okay,
that?
Mr. Wallace,
Go
Allen,
ahead.
why do you think that that is not the intention of the president?
I do
They
Exactly.
think it
want
is.
to put
I
that
do.
situation in place.
I do. I
They
do believe
want the
that's his.
people to fight
Guess
back
what?
against authority. They
And if
want that.
people don't fight back, they're going to set something up
That's
that
the
makes it
idea.
look like the people fought back.
Well, that's what the whole Venezuelan thing is for me, as I look at it, is well, I can't get the people to shoot back at my ICE officers, so let me go down here and start a war, because if there is a war going on and people resist my war effort, I can arrest them for sedition. I can say that they are anti-American, and I can call for martial law and stay in power. Now that's the circle that I see, and I haven't been able. Nobody's pushed me out of that circle yet. Everything that I see keeps us in that arena, and everything that I see taking place between us on the planet, in this country, which is, despite all of my aggression toward the situation, I think that this is the best place on the planet to be. Maybe it's because I've not been everywhere, but I've been enough places to know that, and I've seen enough other people go places and come back. This must be the right place to fight the battle. So I'm
It's
saying we need to continue to fight the battle. We need to continue to figure it out. And I appreciate you guys for helping to clear my mind. I'd like to say I'm old enough to know better, but I'm young enough to still be stupid about some things. Anthony Garcia is laughing. He says I'm stupid about everything, but that's okay.
What's up, Anthony?
funny like that. Watch yourself.
but
Watch
but
how you talk
we
about
gotta
daddy.
laugh. We gotta laugh to keep from crying, and the laughter keeps us positive enough to look for solutions about what to do. And we love our children, so I think the things that come up out of conversation that has to do with our children kind of brings us together in terms of a honest plane that we all have to kind of work on and share together. And I appreciate you guys very much. We're out of here. Quickest hour on radio. I appreciate you guys for being it. I'd give you each another 5 seconds to say goodbye, but I know you need 20. So I'm
Hey,
going to
my name
say,
is Mac Rome. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening.
Give it
Mitchell.
all you've got, and then give God room to move. That's
Oh
just
my goodness! I'm glad you
that's
guys
the
took that.
golden
I'm
rule.
glad you took those seconds. God bless you. Thank you so
Give it
much.
all
See
you
you
got,
next
and give
week.
God room to move.
See you next week under two circumstances. One, the good Lord's willing. Two, the creek don't rise. Thank you so much. You guys have been a real think factory today.
Anthony, I'm serious.